everybody, and welcome to Woofer Wednesday. I know that sounds a bit strange. It is the first time we've done this, but I thought this would be great fun. Hello, actually, I'll just say that again, just in case you missed it, because we're having a few technical issues today. So good afternoon. Welcome to Woofer Wednesday, our first ever Woofer Wednesday. And obviously Woofer, because today we're talking dogs, but not only dogs, anything that we have used over the last 12 incredible and very strange months to try and get us through. My pup that you can see here, Barkley, is a bit of a new addition, but nonetheless, he's there hopefully now to get me walking and exercising and doing a bit more. So I'm joined today. We've got Beatrix Saz, and we've got Chrissy Applin. Most of you will know Chrissy. And somewhere behind that big black and white dog on the bottom is Miranda Crackleburt. So welcome to you. Thank you. If you can, what I'd like you to do just briefly is tell us who you are. Whoops, get the dog. And more important, who your dog friend is. So if we start with, let's start with Beatrix.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Beatrix, and I'm from Gloucestershire. I have my own bookkeeping business, and in the last nearly 3 years now, I'm working on it, and I'm trying to progress and grow a little bit. And I have 3 dogs. This is one of them, Daisy. I have Sticky and our little puppy, who's only just arrived to us last week. And his name is Benny. I will show them all. I just thought I'd start with her because she's the shy one. She doesn't really like to come up.
And what is she? What makes
she is a cross, and she is a border collie and a Westie cross. So her dad is a white Westie and her mom is a border collie. And she looks like a miniature border collie.
Yeah, she did. I thought border collie there. So
yeah, but she's
was
really
that an accident?
Sorry?
Was that an accident or by choice?
I think it was an accident because the people, they are the Westie, so they have Westie puppies. And I think something happened behind the scenes.
Right, okay. How about you, Chrissy? I can see a black lump there. I can't see much else at the moment. Oh, right.
So I'm Chrissy Applin. I run Caplin Bookkeeping, based in Southampton, been going just over 3 years now. And this is Ziggy. He's a King Charles Spaniel. He's just over 3 now, so I got him actually a couple of days before I sat my final exams. So it was ABA 9, I think it was called then, before the structure. So I got him literally a couple of days before that we got him. So he's been here throughout the bookkeeping.
Oh, good, great. Well, he's growing like the practice, so that's great.
Yeah.
And Miranda, you seem to be taken over by the dog. I'm not sure.
I'm Miranda Crackleburt. I'm down in Ringwood in Hampshire. This is Boo. He is a rescue Staffordshire Bull Terrier. I've had him coming up for 5 years. He's 6 years old. I have another Staffy, another rescue. She is 2 years old. She's called Betty, so I have Betty Boo. Yes, they have been my saviours through this lockdown. So out and about.
Now, Staffies have got a bit of a bad reputation there. How does number 2 coming in? And
here comes number 2. So yes, Betty's a little bit smaller than Boo, but yes, they are known as the nanny dog, because they have got such a good temperament. It's just bad owners.
Right. Well, we're all hopefully good owners, aren't we, and all the rest of it. Yeah. So I've had dogs for many years. Ever since I was as a kid at home, I used to live with my grandparents when I was little, and we always had. I think they were called border cross collie, and basically any accident that came along, people used to sell them. So we always had a black and white dog, but they were great fun, and it's I sort of grown up with that. And then when June and I got married, I think we started with a Cavalier King Charles, and then we went on to we've had a few Westies, we've had a few different things, and then for a couple of years we had Great Danes, and Great Danes are lovely, beautiful, mercurial dogs, but they get ill so often, you just get attached to them, and then something happens. And they either die or unfortunately have to have them put to sleep, and it's really heartbreaking. So we wanted a relatively large dog. We wanted something we'd not tried before. So the idea of having a boxer, all I'm told is they don't grow up until they're quite old. They're about 2 years before they grow up, and if you've got anything lying around, they'll chew it, which is, yeah, a bit what he's doing now at the moment. But anyway, it is actually nice to sit and stroke a dog and have a chat and talk to somebody on the phone. And I can't say we do it all the time, so I don't want to give you the impression that I do. But so Chrissy, again, Kaplan. I thought your name was Kaplan for a while because everything to Applin, but anyway, Chrissy Applin. So how you've had the dog for the same length of period that you've had the practice, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So how does the dog fit into your very busy bookkeeping life?
He spends most of his day sat on my lap. He loves just to sit on my lap while I'm working. He just loves it. He's sometimes a bit embarrassing when you're on a call with someone and he starts snoring as he's asleep. Or pops his head up when you're on a call and just kind of pops his out to see what's going on. But no, he's a great company, and for me it's that thing of, like you said, getting out, you know, especially sort of like during January where long days, lots going on. It's nice to have that reason to go out and actually just get a break from the laptop for half an hour and just take him out. So yeah, it's good like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know from speaking to a lot of our members that they tend to be a bit workaholic. It's one of those things that if there's 5 minutes, they'll just nip back and have a go at something. And, you know, because June and I are married to each other and to the Institute, we do nothing but talk Institute, I'm afraid, and the family are involved as well. So Sunday lunches are a complete nightmare. It's like a board meeting almost. And yeah, we tend not to have much of a break, to be honest with you. I mean, we don't have many holidays as such because we quite enjoy. I mean, we'll go and see a branch down. We went last year and did a few down. We did Bath and we did, you know, sort of Devon and that sort of thing. And it's nice to be, because we're together, we can just have a nice drive down, and we don't really need much of a holiday. But I have to say, since we've had this little monster, just getting out into the garden for 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes every time he comes to the window to go out or something or other, I do find it very relaxing. I hadn't realised how relaxing it can be, even though now I'm struggling to keep him quiet. But that's one of those things. So Beatrix, how about you? You run a practice. You also run a branch.
Yes.
And in between that, you run 3 dogs.
Yes. Yeah, I found that really, really good to have a reason to get out, to get the exercise. And we started to do in lockdown this 1 hour walk in the evenings. And then when it was getting darker, I moved it to the morning. So we do it in the morning. And it's huge help. And even if you don't want to, even if you don't feel like it, you just have to, because they need it anyway. So
Or you suffer if you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good for me as well. But I have to say, in this last few days, nearly a week since we have the puppy, it's even more. So it's just like running around all the time and just watching him, what he started to chew and where is he, and what furniture is he under. So it's even more exercise, which is good. And he needs more, he needs to go out a bit more often. So we need to take a break. And it's normally me because I work from home now every day. And I have 2 boys and they are homeschooling too.
Right.
And they help too, but it's mainly me who is taking them.
Yeah, I'm sort of getting used to Barkley here, when he's circling because he's bored, and when he's circling because he's about to do something I don't want to have to wipe up afterwards, you know. But I remember the one Dane that we had before, Marlowe. He was a huge dog. You take him out and he would circle to find the right spot for about 20 minutes before settling, you know, and you'd be sitting there thinking, oh, for crying out loud, come on, please, you know. This one's a little bit better than that. That's good. Miranda, you and your staffies, so how are they helping you through all of this?
Well, I actually, during this this last year, I actually took my son on as an apprentice in the practice. So,
I remember that, yes.
Yes. So and so we actually we're now just getting into the routine of actually our lunchtime. We go out and take the dogs for a walk. So it gets us away from the office, gets us out in a bit of air, and gives us time to recharge and get a little bit more productive in the afternoon. So I tend to take them out in the morning, come into the office, and then, like I say, we go out at lunchtime for a walk together and the dogs, and back re-energized for the afternoon's battle.
So a bit off the subject, but how's the apprentice doing?
He's doing very well. He is doing very well. He's alleviating a little bit of pressure off myself, which means that I actually get a little bit of me time.
Yeah.
With the plan, and then once I know that he's a little bit more confident, I will then look towards gaining some new clients so that he can pay for himself.
That's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to get them paid for themselves. That's good. Dogs are one way of doing this, but you know, we can't sort of deny the fact that there have been some major challenges over the last year or so, and you know, we know that some of our members have had struggles with clients, and one or two have decided to take early retirement because they're thinking, you know, look, this is just ongoing, it's never ending. But over 99% of our members are still in there. They're still fighting away. They're still looking after their clients, etc. And I think we have been really resilient, which is fantastic. But I think that one of the things that everybody's talking about at the moment, of course, is that people don't take enough time for themselves. So a dog is a start, but what else do you do? I mean, Chrissy, I mean, you seem to spend most of your time on the web, doing something or other. But what do you do else to switch off and sort of, you know, yoga or talking to yourself, or is it how do you do it?
Watching films. So we were big on going to the cinema, obviously before lockdown when you could go to the cinema. So what being able to watch films at home is kind of, it's not as good, but it's a nice way to I guess switch off and have a distraction for a long enough time. So that and watching TV series really. There've been some good ones we've watched sort of this lockdown, and just that, again, just that distraction, just that ability just to actually, you know, the laptop is there and the work may still be there, but actually just that distraction to switch off for a few hours that's what I find really helps.
So you like me, I'll do one a night, and then you sort of think, well, actually, I've got time to see the second, and then
exactly.
The third, gripping. You sort of sit there and do the entire 13 episodes or something like that.
Yeah, we've done that before. Yeah. Yeah, sign of a good TV series.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, or insomnia, one of the two. Beatrix, how about you? What else have you done to try and sort of alleviate the sort of pain of what's going on outside and everything?
Well, I started networking like in the first lockdown, which is not entirely off work topic, but it's good that I meet people and like-minded people and small businesses around the area, and they are really supportive to each other. So it's really good kind of taking my mind off everything. And I have to say, I need to find something else too, which is like completely out of all work-related things, so relax. I was thinking of yoga, to be honest. Maybe, I don't know if it's a good time to start when everything's online. I don't know. I might have a look into that.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, Amazon delivered 2 yoga mats here the other day, and June tells me that you know, they haven't actually been unrolled yet, but we are going to do some yoga, so we'll have a go. And I thought she might want to do the Joe Wicks bit, but apparently that's not what she had in mind. She wants something a little bit calmer and a little bit more sedate. So we're going to try yoga. So we're looking at that at the moment. But I don't think it's quite as embarrassing with all your lumps and bumps in the wrong places if you're doing it in your own sitting room and nobody can see you. So we'll be trying that. So Beatrix, where are you actually from? Obviously, you've got quite a strong accent.
Yes. I'm Hungarian. Sorry, this is the puppy. And I just realized that I didn't quite dress very well because I'm in black and all the dogs are black and white.
Why I'm out of a suit today. So before anybody starts complaining that I've let the side down, I decided that yeah, today was not the day to be stuck in a nice dark blue suit. So anyway.
Yeah, so I'm from Hungary. I'm Hungarian. I came to the UK in 2007 with my two boys, and they were really, really young. So they started to go to nursery and then primary school and school here. And I have to say, they are the ones who are making a joke of my accent most of the time. And they say, Mom, that's not how you say it. Yeah.
No, well, it's good. I mean, I was born in Shropshire, but right on the border with Wales, and people always used to say to me, "Are you Welsh?" I said, "No, I'm not Welsh," you know. But and then a bit later on, it was, "Are you from Birmingham?" Because you know you're sort of in the middle, really, in Shropshire. You get a mixture of the two. And when they started throwing all the people they didn't want out of Birmingham and putting them in Telford or somewhere or other, I'll probably get shouted at by Telford people now, but it's actually true. And I lived there for a while. I became a Brummie, you know. So there are some funny accents about it, but that's nice. I mean. Yeah, Hungary, I haven't seen much of the country. I've seen bits of it, but it is a beautiful country. Very nice.
Yes, I also started to learn English in primary school. And then in secondary school and at the university, we had to study business English. And the funny thing is, when I came to the UK, I had more the business language knowledge and not the everyday conversation. I was struggling to make the, you know, some of the words I couldn't remember and I didn't know. For everyday conversation, but I knew a lot about export, import, and invoices and all kinds of like business things which we had to learn.
Yeah. So Miranda, so a bit more about you and what you've been doing. I mean, you've got a great name there, a double barrel name. Is that partly yours and partly your husband's, or did you inherit that, or is this just yours?
Partly mine and my ex-husband, so I've not actually changed back to my maiden name yet.
Right. Okay.
But now I've when the gyms were back open, I was doing a lot of swimming in the mornings. But what I actually, obviously, and continue with walking with the dogs. But I've gone across to online workout exercise, literally 15 minutes a day, just to keep myself active. And like you say, in front of the television, it doesn't matter. Nobody can see how bad you look. My son laughs at me while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And then the dogs try and join in as well, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is nobody can shout at you and tell you to do stuff. But actually, I think probably a lot of people who do that extra 4 press-ups or whatever it is they do because they're being shouted at. And I never get to do that. So I give up when I'm ready. So, you know, I've only done a bit of it. I get very bored with exercise, but I've managed to... I put on a bit of weight when we first locked down, but I've managed to get rid of it, and I'm losing a bit of the time now. I'm trying to do it very gently, but the strange thing is that according to my BMI index, I'm supposed to lose about another 2 stone yet. I think I'm going to look ill. I mean, I've got to be roughly the same size I was when I got married when I was in my 20s. So I don't know, but it worries me slightly, all of this. So I'm using that as an excuse. I don't want to look ill. But what I'm looking for, look at this. I've got to get a haircut, but my barber, I was due to go just at the end of the last lockdown, and he, one of his relatives got COVID, so he disappeared. So I thought, oh, well, it's all right, I'll wait. And it's been growing ever since. So I keep asking June to have a sort of a hack at it with something, and she daren't. So yeah, I've got to do something. I'm looking forward to when we can come out of that. What are you most looking forward to when you get out of well, let's say when we get out of this? Chrissy, what's your biggest thing that you want to do? The cinema?
Yeah, cinema or the pub, to be honest. Just being able to go out and just relax and be able to have a nice afternoon out or an evening out, but without the sort of without thinking about COVID, I guess. It's, you know, it's that thing of, obviously, whilst we've still got masks and that, even when the pubs were open, it's obviously not the same. So I think it's just that thing of being able to go out again and relax and not be thinking about COVID after 12 months of thinking about it.
Miranda, have you got anything big planned for when this all
I just want to get back into the pool. that sort of starts me off for the day, and getting to see the family. I've got a family up in Norfolk, which obviously haven't seen for the last year. been able to be on the screen on FaceTime and the like, Zoom, but actually to be able to go and be able to give them a hug without being told off. Yeah, it's just getting back to not having to think about, oh, I can't go too close to you, and just some sort of normality.
Yeah, I have two granddaughters, and the youngest was 4 last weekend, and it's the first birthday that I haven't been to for either of them. And yeah, you miss them, you know. I mean, it's all very well watching them blow the candles out over Zoom, but it's not quite the same. You know, and got to do some changes. And I think it is going to be nice to do some mixing. I'm also, although I think, you know, June and I cook up some lovely meals, I'm waiting to be able to sit down and somebody bring it to me, which will be very nice again. You know, there's something nice about being out and just sitting there and being waited on. And well, not so much the being waited on, but the fact that somebody else has created it rather than you rush around and get it down on your plate and sit down and eat it and get up to get the sweet or the pudding afterwards or whatever, you know. So Beatrix, you presumably, do you still have family across in Hungary? Do you get across there very often to see them?
Yes, I have some, not so much because my dad is here and my mom and my 2 brothers live in Germany. So we are like quite international. But I still have some family in Hungary and some friends who I haven't been able to see them, well, nearly 2 years now.
Yeah.
And also holidays, which we had to postpone, was supposed to happen with my mom's. And just in general, meeting people, just to be able to socialize a bit. Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing we all miss.
So Brexit hasn't exactly helped either then, by the sound of it. If you're going to want to go to Germany as well and various other places.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We don't know a lot of the things regarding to Brexit yet, like very specific things. We're just trying to figure out. Yeah, but it will be, everything will be affected from our point of view. And
I'm presuming Brexit's like everything else with the press. They always find the things that have gone wrong and report on it and make it sound as if it's universal. But, you know, it's weird. They're saying nobody can get overseas. And yet there are people overseas because we're having to ban them from coming back into society for 2 weeks. So the two don't sort of stack up for me, but we'll see how that goes.
yeah.
Do you think that this move towards wellness is a passing fad? Do you think we've turned a corner and it will become part of everybody's life in future? Or, you know, are you one of these people who think, I'm fed up with Prince William telling me he's not feeling very happy and all the rest of it? Where do you come from on this? Miranda, what's your feeling?
I'd like to think that people would continue. I mean, I know with first lockdown, so many people were thoughtful and thinking of others, and then all of a sudden they forgot. I'd like to think that the people would still continue the way that they were during the lockdown, being thankful that actually they're in a good in a better place and they're actually not being affected by the illness. But unfortunately, I think people in this day and age, people have become quite selfish. I think this is actually has made people more aware, and I'd like to think that they would continue it. But who knows? Only time will tell, really.
Yeah, it would be nice to think everybody turned out nice after all this, wouldn't it? But I remember my grandmother telling me that she'd gone through the war. And everybody rallied round, everybody got together, but, you know, the same things happened within a couple of years of the war. You know, it all changed and people were back to normal. But yeah, and I think also we're going to have to be really careful that we don't get another one of these next year, because by the sound of it, there are so many variants. If we're not careful, this will just keep snowballing, won't it? And Chrissy, what do you think about this move towards wellness? Is it a good move? Is it what we need, or is it just going to be the people who've always done it will continue to do it, and the rest of us will grow old and fat normally?
No, I mean, I think it's needed more than ever, and I think, you know, one thing COVID's shown us is that working practices can be different to how they've perhaps been in the past. So, you know, obviously my previous work was in banking. And you know, I was in that industry where you pretty much work from the office 5 days a week. You know, you were expected, you could work from home, but you were expected pretty much to be in the office. And obviously those times have changed now. And I think it's good for a variety of reasons. It's good for the flexibility. But I think it also changes the way people work, because actually people who would have had an hour commute perhaps to get to an office will be up and working sooner when they're at home. So actually the things of taking time out and taking time away from the laptop or away from the computer is more important than ever, because you don't have those natural breaks that you'd perhaps have when you're in an office. So I think it's something that is rightly, you know, the focus is on it. And I think the problem with working at home, as we'll find, is, you know, it's that thing of, yeah, the weekdays blur into the weekends and it all just blurs into one, especially now when it's lockdown, you can't go out and do other things, you know, it all just blurs into one. So actually it's more important to be able to actually recognise and say, actually, no, I need to have these breaks. I need to be able to do something. I need to go out and get fresh air. I need to have a break, do something different for a while. And you know, I think it will take a while when we go, you know, when normal comes back, whatever normal now is going to be, you know, I think working practices will change. I think there will still be, you know, I think companies have realised that actually employees can be more productive or as productive working at home. So I think working practices will perhaps change going forward. And I think that change on employees and everything, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, it does. It will be interesting to see how it pans out. I mean, I'm married to a workaholic, and you know, she gets up in the morning, and the first thing she does is look at the forums, looks at email, see who's done what, and I'm dead on my feet by midnight, and she just sort of gets a second life at about 11:30, you know, and oh. You know, and then, well, you know, anyway, because you and she talk a lot on the social media, you know, or chase people up or try and put them right. And I'm forever thinking, why on earth would they think that? I've just got to answer this query, you know. So it's, yeah, it is difficult. So even given working from home, sometimes it's that adds to the pressure almost. I mean, Beatrix, what about you? Are you a converted wellness person now, or is this a fad?
Yeah, I think I made the first step and maybe a few more steps, but I do have that mindset that I'm gonna be a bit more careful about that and do a bit more exercise. And yes, just thinking back of the first lockdown and probably the very first or second week, I remember when we went out with the dogs and there was no planes, no cars, and nothing. It felt so peaceful, a bit strange and lonely, but I just thought that it's good for the earth as well, for the environment, and for a second just to stop everything and us doing what we're doing. And it's a little bit about the change, so we have to kind of embrace the change and just adapt and change our lives. And
we
find new ways to look after ourselves.
That's all right. We are used to having Zoom meetings now with the team, and Amy quite often has an interruption halfway through from somebody who wants to ask about a particular lesson she's learning on television or something or other, and whilst there stops and says hello to whoever's on the screen. You know, I mean, but we've sort of got used to it. I'm not sure we'd have put up with it normally, but I think it's become normal now, so we're doing that. I mean, let me ask you, as three of our members, if we as an institute didn't actually have a London office, but we were still available, you know, at normal times, and we came to branch meetings and we had events and everything else. I mean, would you actually worry that we didn't have a big office building in London or something? Would it affect the way you thought about us or about your institute? I can see Chrissy shaking her head there.
No, to me it wouldn't make a difference, and I think in this day and age, it's, you know, it's like looking back at the conference. You know, yes, obviously it's a shame we couldn't have the conference and be there in person, but actually having it virtually opened it up to more people. So I think you know, these things I just don't think are that important. Personally, I don't think they are in this day and age. I think it's more about, you know, I've phoned the you know, the technical team, and things that you get through easily, just the same as you would when people were in the office. It makes no difference. So to me, it doesn't matter.
And as the image is concerned, it wouldn't bother you that, oh, there must be a tin pot outfit because they don't have an office or something like this, you know, which would have happened years ago, but I mean, I think that's probably disappearing, so that doesn't matter. I mean, what about you, Miranda? I mean,
I think, like as Chrissy said, I mean, the summit opened up to everybody. It was great. I mean,
that was incredible, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
It was so much for everybody, and there was so much there for all of us to be able to dip into. But also, as it's been proven, we are all contactable at any time. And so for you to have an office, in fact, it would obviously, if you didn't have the office, it would alleviate costs for the institute. So it's good business sense, really. And the fact that like we said, everybody's contactable. We can phone the offices. We still get the same response. Maybe have a little bit of a noise in the background, but hey, we're all used to that now.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we can normally get you through to whoever. The difference in an office is you can look across the room and see whether somebody's already on the phone, and we can't do that. But actually, as the office gets bigger and fuller anyway, they're in a different floor or something, so you still have that problem. So I don't think it's any different. And so, yeah, I'm pleased about that. I mean, Beatrix, you're not going to throw in the towel and stop paying your subscription if we don't have a London office then?
No, I haven't even been in the office.
Anybody has, you know, it just sits there.
Yeah, so I don't even know how, if you have office or not.
No, well, yeah, we have. We actually had quite a nice office. I mean, we have a pool table and we have some optics ready for Friday nights, you know, when we have a staff get together. But to be honest with you, our staff were so varied in ages and home circumstances that one or two of them, you know, the real diehards would stop on Friday night, play a game of pool, and we'd have a bit of music or something. But actually, most people want to go home to their partners, want to go home and cook dinner or something or other. So, you know, it was there and we had a bit of fun. But I think we've just got to look at, any organisation now has got to look at different ways of bringing the troops together. And so, you know, our thinking, and we have to make a decision within the next couple of weeks as to whether or not we maintain our lease for the next 5 years. So it seems to be all going towards no, let's bother. So, which is why I was checking. It's good of you to give me your candid thoughts. But yeah, I think it's we have to make sure that the service that you get is as normal as it can be. I think, you know, we've always prided ourselves on our service. We've had a few problems with getting to the vast number of emails this time, but I think that's because of COVID. You've all had so many more questions to ask, and you know, so keeping up has been incredible. I mean, we are doing 5 times more emails now than we were this time 2 years ago, and that's an incredible number. You know, you're looking at over 1,000 a week. And trying to get through 1,000 emails is really quite difficult, particularly when you answer the email and the person who gets it thinks, oh, great. Oh, by the way, and then they come back with another email and then another email. And I keep saying to the team, you know, pick up the phone, you know, talk to people, because then you can get what they really want to ask. And I also find on emails and tweets and everything else that what the person says isn't necessarily what the person reads, the other person reads, you know, and it's a bit like the classic of David Cameron, wasn't it, who sent a message to somebody and he thought LOL meant lots of love and it meant laugh out loud, and it went the wrong way. So therefore, yeah, you can do things wrong. But we've got a few people coming up on the chat line here, so I ought to start reading some of these. This is the chat. Who have we got here? Let's start. I'll start at the top and work down. So Joanne Crompton. Hi, Joanne. Far too much cuteness here today. Oh, you mean the puppies? Okay, that's good. That's fine. Anise says they're all adorable. Kirsty Sunjan. Barkley is so cute and so pretty. He's gorgeous, isn't he? And as I said here the other day, he's not one of those pups that you don't know what he's going to quite grow up like. He's just a miniature boxer dog. It's incredible, really. You look at him at a distance, and he could be a 2-year-old. Elaine Buckfield, hi Elaine, hi everyone. And he's, yes, I agree. I want to be able to go out as we normally did before all the COVID stuff. Yeah, I'm sure we all want to do that. Kate Reynolds says we have a cockapoo who is a therapy dog, and until COVID started, she was a regular visitor to the local old people's home. Oh, that's brilliant. I like that. Somebody joked that's why we got Barkley here. Was he a therapy dog for us old age pensioners? But no, not quite. Sadly, she doesn't come across well to the residents on Zoom. No, it's not the same, is it? At the moment, our daily walk is past the care home window and the residents wave at her. Yeah, I mean, it is difficult when people are like that. My mum is in a home, not a care home, but she's in a sort of a shared accommodation. We've not been able to see her for a long time. She's now in her 80s. And she's sort of locked away in the flat. I mean, it's a lovely flat, but like everything else, it's much nicer when you can choose to be there rather than you don't have any choice. But anyway. Karen says, lovely to see your dogs. Mine is requesting a walk. He is a rescue collie spaniel, and I have had him 6 years. In this mad world, he's my sanity. Oh, that's great. And he says, I have a German Shepherd. They always look like a lot of hard work, German Shepherds. They seem to want to be active all the time. I'm told that my boxer here, although he'll have a few mad moments, they like to sleep and they like to be cuddled. They're more of a lap dog than they look. So I'm hoping that I've got that one right. Nicola Lamb, lovely to see you all and your dogs. I have 2 dogs and 3 cats. Interesting. They all get on together. Our dogs, both rescues, are Shay, Collie Retriever, and Mabel Lassie Lab. Wow. Currently self-isolating, so we're itching to get out on our 1-hour walk each morning. There are some incredible crosses nowadays. When Gin and I were looking for our dog, we kept getting alerts from Pets for Homes or whatever it's called. And most things seem to have a poodle in there somewhere. So I don't know what it's French, the French in them, I think. They get around a bit. But yeah, so Jan Moss, squeaky toys, wouldn't bother me about the big office. Great. And I guess I wouldn't be concerned. It's the people involved, not the buildings. That is nice to meet people in person. Actually, yeah, we definitely want to meet people in person. And I've got some big ideas for ways we can do that more and more. And I think actually, if I can get people out to meet the members more often, because they don't have to spend an hour at night, an hour in the morning getting into work, then I think that'll be great. And yeah, We've got some ideas. I've got some ideas, but then again, I've always got weird ideas. I have to try and persuade everybody here that it's worth doing. So that's that. What else have we got here now? Jan Moss, laugh out loud, LOL, she says. Yeah, well, that's true. Sherry Wolf. I hate to say it, but that's an appropriate sort of name, isn't it? I would have been concerned, but not anymore. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, the world is changing, so we've got to make the most of it. And these hotels, etc., are available for specific events. Yeah, look, we have a conference, and we don't do that in our office. We have Inspire Tour. We don't do that in our office. We get out, we meet the people. And in fact, the year before last, we had our first ever whole away weekend for our team. And that went really, really well because we had some fun. We did some quizzes. We did some dashing around a little bit. Nothing too mad, not paintballing or anything like that. We did a bit of training on new things at the Institute. We got their ideas and their feedback, and they really enjoyed it. And I think we'll be doing something like that perhaps a little bit more often. And Jan Moss, photobombed.
That would be.
Are we talking about Miranda down there? Yes. I have to say we've seen a lot more of the dog than Miranda, but it's a lovely dog. And I haven't been in the London office. Actually, although our office is there, very few people ever come near to it. You know, we do occasionally organise meetings in there. And we say to people, look, if you're passing, knock on the door and pop in, say hello. But most people don't, because actually you've got other things to do. I don't think it matters. Put the funds in to support the members, said Anise. Absolutely. I mean, we are a not-for-profit, just in case you've ever missed that. So if we make £200,000 one year, we have to spend it next year, or at least that's the plan. I'm not an accountant, but I'm always concerned about these very large professional bodies who are sitting on tens of millions in the bank earning interest and putting it onto the bottom line. Look after your members more, you know. And several of those bodies, when we came to COVID, had to withdraw all their exams. Well, we've spent our money putting on an online exam system. You know, we spent a fortune on it, and it's paid dividends. We haven't lost a single exam or examinee through the entire year. So, and we've got other people who are sitting on 10 million and saying, well, we can't do exams at the moment. We've got to wait for 2 years. But anyway, John Mars. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I missed your dog, Gary. Can I see him? Here he is. This is Barkley, and he is 10 weeks old on Friday. So he's still pretty young. So, but he can wave. That's good. And he's an absolutely gorgeous dog. He's pretty well house trained. Has the occasional slip up if we don't quite realise what it is he's saying to us. But apart from that, he's lovely. You know, and I do have to take lots of trips out to the garden, which is part of the old exercise bit. I used to have a boxer called Winston. That's a beautiful name for a boxer. Yeah. We've always had dog names that mean something to us. Barkley is named after the Berkeley Hotel, which was not far from where we lived in London for a while, and they had a very nice restaurant there. And so it was the only thing we could think of. We're living in Romsey, and Romsey sounded like a nice name, but it sounded a bit silly to be walking down the streets here and shouting Romsey. So we shout Barkley instead. And we've got, who's this? Elaine Buckfield again. Yeah, hi, Elaine again. I have a 3-year-old loony Doberman. You see, Dobermans and Staffies worry me a little bit, but just looking at Miranda's Staffy there, apart from wanting to take control, he seems lovely, and Dobermans too. I always worry I'll wake up in the morning or something or other and find they've pinned June to the wall or something or other, you know. So anyway, and he's they are active dogs. GSDs, but that forces me to be active too. Sometimes weird ideas turn out to be the best. Sherry Wolf laughed at my comment on her name. I have 2 Siberian Huskies. They go well with my surname. Yes. They've got rather a lot of hair, haven't they? I mean, I presume that they lose it occasionally all over the place. I don't know how many of you have been watching that dog grooming program on television, and I forgot what it's called now, but on people grooming dogs and turning poodles into some strange looking contraption. But yeah, it's John Moss says, oh, he's beautiful. Yes. He was falling asleep in your arms. Yeah, I know. I've had to pick him out of his basket. He does sleep a lot, thankfully. But yeah, and he just sort of literally drops off and away he goes. So that's good. Jan Holbrook, ICB lends itself to being more virtual. An office shouldn't be necessary, and as you say, you already get out and about to meet us a lot. Weekends for the team would probably focus them too. Way forward, I think. I have a mad golden doodle. So that's a golden Labrador and a poodle. Where does the doodle come? What's the D then? Figure that out. Is that a Doberman? Golden doodle? Who is asleep and dreaming on the sofa. Isn't it fantastic when they're dreaming and they start running and barking and doing all sorts of things in their sleep? And Erica says, I have 2 Border Terriers and 5 horses. So exercise during lockdown has not been an issue. You should have mentioned this before, Erica. You could have brought a horse on. I'm sure that you could have picked a horse there. It would be great. Go with my ponytail. Anyway. Sherry says, yeah, fur all over my house. That's great, isn't it? The thing that I noticed when we were buying our boxer was it takes a certain person to breed dogs, I think. They all look very, very similar. And I noticed that everybody had got leather sofas. And I couldn't think, you know, I thought, well, that's very funny. They all take leather. Of course, it's the hairs, isn't it? They wipe off a leather sofa far better. So, yeah, I don't have leather sofas here, but never mind. I've got a short-haired dog. although I'm told they still molt, but we will see. So I think that's done on that for now. Well, it's really good of you ladies to come on, because, as I say, every time I mentioned I'd got a dog, they said, "Oh, is this a therapy dog? You know, is this to keep you busy and everything else?" And it wasn't actually the reason we bought it. We just wanted a dog because we've moved to a house now instead of from a flat. But yeah, having come back here and really walked around the garden a lot more, I realised how important it was. And I think also the calls that we're getting from members, the first lockdown, as has been said already, it was all, you know, we're doing this for the country. I think we're getting bored with it now. It's getting a bit too much. You know, we want to see the end to this. And so I'm hoping that, you know, not too many people stray, and we do keep locked down for another month or so and make sure it works, because every time we lock down, the figures go down, you know, the unfortunate deaths, the hospital admissions and everything else. But then as soon as everybody relaxes, they start ignoring the rules, they start going out more, and it all happens all over again. And I'd hate to think it was going to be a constant roller coaster ride for the foreseeable future. But anyway, so I'd like to ask you about your individual businesses, really. I mean, Miranda, when you have time to get through behind that thing of yours, where are you going with your business? You've got a budding assistant now.
Yeah, I've got my apprentice.
Is that it? You see it being a family business moving forward more and more?
Yes, I mean, he's looking at doing level 2 and level 3, and actually has then asked the question, well, will those 2 qualifications maybe help me to go and do an accounting degree? So he's got the thoughts of that way, and then a case of, well, will I be able to come back and work for you once I've done that? And I said, well, you can be my accountant in the firm, because I don't want to go that bit further. I'm happy as a bookkeeper. So yes, hopefully, never say never. So yes, it's looking good. We've now got the office in the garden, which obviously you don't realise how much taking on an apprentice when you've been working in the bedroom, that you've actually got to get a more space to be able to for the 2 of you. So so we've now got the office in the garden, and as I said previously, once he's competent in a little bit more, then I will be looking towards building the practice and getting more clients on board. And with that, with what's happening obviously regarding online, receipt bank, auto entry and the like, it's given me more time to be able to expand and get more clients on board, because I've got that little bit more extra time because of having an apprentice, but also from having the software to help as well.
Yeah, I think I would say virtually all of our members are now pretty well 100% in the cloud in one way or another. And I know before COVID, a lot of clients were saying, but I still like to see you on a weekly basis. COVID's been a good excuse to say, well, actually, I can see you occasionally, but not as often. But if you could now got this special way of getting everything to me, which means I'm going to do an even better job for you, because I'm not spending all my time traveling up the M something or other to get to you.
Absolutely.
So I think it's helped us. What I would say that I have noticed, looking at all of the media, the social media, etc., the accountants could well have made quite a lot of this and been very successful at doing it, but they seem to have gone the other way and have had even less contact with their members. And I still think, even in a virtual world, the virtual bookkeeper will win out, because we have a different way of doing things, and that's not a cottage industry type way at all. It's an understanding way, it's being there for people, and I think that's important.
I did notice, obviously with the first lockdown, my clients were asking me the questions rather than going to their accountants. And what I did on the first weekend of the lockdown, I got all the information that I could regarding furlough and any grants that were going on. I put together a huge email so I could send out to all my clients to give them the lowdown of everything, and sent it out to them, which obviously is something that is not chargeable, but it just means that they think they think so much more of you because you've thought of them. And they find that a bookkeeper is more helpful and more approachable than an accountant is. It's literally all of my clients came to me first. They didn't go to their accountants, and it's because they've got that personal relationship with you.
And he's just come on and said, well done, Miranda. So yeah, she agrees with you. I think so. Now, one of our members was a bit more of a cynic, said it's only because they know they'll get charged every time they go to the accountant. Well, you have to be able to come up with some agreement whereby, or some understanding whereby you will be charged for this extra advice, but it's given in such a way that you don't stop yourself from asking that final question, that really important question, because it's going to cost you more money than it's going to get you back. And, there is a big attitude difference between the two professions. And I'm doing some work at the moment with sort of governmental bodies about it. But the idea that I think accountants are sort of stuck to this idea that they're there to save you paying tax, so they'll slip a few more expenses through or something or other. Bookkeepers aren't. They just say, look, if you do your job properly and I do the books properly for you, then you've got more time to get on and work. You've got less worry, less hassle. I'll make sure you pay only exactly what you're due to pay, not a penny more, not a penny less. And you'll have that entire peace of mind. And I think that's really important, that we maintain that. But I'm hoping when COVID's over, the clients don't forget how important you were. I think some might lapse back into their old ways, but no, let's hope we've all got them on a short lead now, if I can use the pun, and they do as they're told.
It's also an opportunity to actually decide which clients are actually working with us, and if they're working well with us, then we can continue working with them. And it can give you that opportunity to say, actually, you didn't work with me during that time, and make the decision that actually then you don't need them in your practice because they're more stressful than you need. So again, we're going back to the wellness side of it. Best for you, which means that you're going to be more well in yourself.
When we first started, we started the ICB 24 years ago, just over 24 years ago, and after about 4 or 5 years, when we got a reasonable number of members and we got practices, etc., and I don't know, we did a survey which said, how much do you charge your clients? It was anonymous, so nobody was telling us any great story, and the average was less than the basic wage. And we said, well, hold on a minute, why are you doing this? They said, well, actually, we hadn't thought about it till you asked us the question, because I said, well, look, work out how much you get, how much time, what are you physically actually charging? And then we did another survey, it's probably 5 years ago now, one or two of you might have remembered it, but that had changed dramatically. And I don't think anybody really was now charging less than the minimum wage, because you are a professional, and having moved to a new house down here, I've been trying to find somebody to, do some odd jobs and what have you. And you've got people who, let's say they're not the most intelligent people, but they do know how to ask for £30 an hour. So, bookkeepers do a big job. And one of the things that I think we've got to do even better at as ICB is just explaining how important that is to people that you're working with, your potential clients, so that, they don't come to you expecting a cheap and cheerful person who's just going to save them on their accounting bill. That's not what this is about. This is about running your business properly. And I think COVID will help us again as we come out of this, because businesses are in many instances going to have to completely change the way they do things. They're going to be looking for new markets, new customers, different types of customer, etc. And the last thing they want to be worrying about is doing their books. So if they've got a good ICB bookkeeper behind them and they can just get on with what they're doing, then yeah, that's what it's all about, I think. I really do. So that'd be good.
Yeah.
So
I think,
where do you think you're going now with your business?
sorry, me?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add that I think we have a different relationship with the clients than accountants do. And it's kind of, sometimes they almost look like they scared of their accountant or something strange going on. And because we work with them on a regular basis, it's easier for them to approach us rather than the accountant. And also we are, I think, more responsive and communicating with them a bit more often. Yes, my business is actually, it has grown in the last year or so, and especially during lockdown. And I have a few new clients as well. And I've lost a few, unfortunately, because they couldn't open up their businesses or had to close during or before the second lockdown. And but I did have, partly from networking, and partly from other clients' referrals. I have a few new clients, and I was going to go down the employment route, which didn't really work out. So I'm now happily subcontracting to other ICB members, which I'm really pleased with. And the things happen. They weren't that good at the time, but they made me rethink my decisions, and I think this is actually a better way to do it, and then I can think about if I want to grow, and if I want to grow, if it's a yes, then which way and how to go about it. So I think it was definitely for the better.
I mean, there's never any pressure from ICB for anybody to grow their business if they don't want to. I mean, that would be silly, and we don't want to not have members because they're scared that they've only got 5 clients, and therefore you're not good enough to be an ICB bookkeeper. And I've said so many times, ICB is about the overall standard. It's not about the number of clients. It's not about whether you're a limited company or a self-employed person, a partnership. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you do a really good job as a bookkeeper, and we've got the best bookkeepers in membership. So you can be running 3 clients from your sitting room, working on your kitchen table, wherever it might be, and you can be a good bookkeeper, or you can have a high street office or an office in the garden, as we've heard today. You know, that really doesn't matter. It is that end service, and you know, it's something we've always prided ourselves on. I mean, you know, from the exams that you've taken, we don't let you through on 50% like some exam boards do. You know, I mean, it's 85, 95%, something like that. Because we know that when you have passed your exams, you tend to jump straight out into running your own business. You pick up clients very, very rapidly. So we can't have you there knowing that 50% of the time you're going to get it wrong. Oh, but that's okay. They're still, you know, they're right 50% of the time. It's not good enough. So, and I think that is an attitude thing. And I mean, I'm pleased to say that we've always been very keen on our standards, but not just our money laundering standards, which tends to be what takes over a little bit because it's you know, it's criminal and all this sort of stuff, but our general professional standards, because we want bookkeepers to be seen as professionals. They have to be, because that's how we're going to get more and more people to use a professional bookkeeper. And I'm sure many of you will know Lucy Brown. Lucy is a branch chair. She looks after Lincolnshire, and in fact she's also a member of our advisory council. And a little while ago we set up something called the Sanctions Review Board, which is an external body, of which Lucy was going to be the internal person, the chair, but the external people that we've drawn together from all over the place. And they were going to make sure that when we sanction somebody, we fine them, or we threw them out, tarred and feathered them, or whatever, that we were being fair and truthful. But we've moved a little bit since then, and I'm very pleased to say that she will very shortly be joining us as our new Director of Professional Standards. So that's just been announced today. And it's because we need to make sure that if we want you to have professional standards, that we are giving you the best possible support. And you know, that's something that we're concentrating on. One of the many things we're concentrating on this year. But so congratulations to Lucy on that. And so, you know, and we will be calling up you, some of our members that you know, helpful to us to see if there's anything else that we can get from it, or you think we ought to be doing. And you know, we are a very inclusive organization. You know, we do like to work with the people, we like to work with you, so it's important we continue to do that. And I'm just seeing what else we've got on here. Oh, right, Miranda said thank you to her niece. That's good. Probably, yeah, it's probably compared to preferring to see the nurse than the GP. Yeah, using that analogy, there are times when only a GP will do. I absolutely appreciate that, but you know, yeah, it is the nurse. And if you go into hospital, when people come out of hospital, they always say, "Oh, the nurses were wonderful," and that's the point. That's what I want people to say about our members. Oh, my bookkeeper is wonderful. But anyway, I have this is Jan Moss says I have a Hungarian rescue who is probably a pummy cross. Have to get out there with him 3 times a day. Make sure you get exercise. Pumi cross. I don't get that one, but anyway, so that's Hungarian. So there we are. Let's make them feel at home. Fur all over the house. So that's great. We're coming up to well, actually, we've just gone over 3 o'clock. We've done our hour. I am aware, obviously, that your dogs probably want to be taken for a walk, and you probably need a break as well. So I would thank you, the 3 of you, very much for coming on. I know a lot of other people said they would like to come on, but we decided probably talking to 3 of you was enough to fill the day. And he says thank you very much. Great.
Yeah.
No, we did.
Now you can see where they are asleep in the corner.
Oh, they're asleep. Oh, that's great.
I had to let them out because they started to bark. So
Right.
they ran
Well,
away.
as you've already seen, my dog's having his sleep at the moment. So as you saw when I picked him up, he really didn't want to be bothered. So he's well away there. So thank you all for bringing on your dogs. I hope everybody that's been on, and you know, we've got a couple hundred people on, have all been interested in what you've had to say. And you know, let's continue to work together. Let's continue to make the best out of anything that's thrown at us, and above all, just be the best. You know, it's very important that we do that. You know, it's all wind and air if we say we're going to be the best and we're not. So thank you all very much, pups, dogs, and members, and thank you for your support. And we look forward to working with you, whatever they throw at us. But, so great. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.